Yeah.
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमदेसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय।
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की
जय।
कोटि वैष्णव गुरुवृंद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य विभूति फाउंडर आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। श्री ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री पुरुषोत्तम सिद्ध जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। नीव नीलाचल धाम की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देव श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees. Hare. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to the lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Mahavishnu Swamiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesa Sunyamati Paschati Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayasva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Bhakti Bhagavate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 14,
37. Text 37.
7. So I'll recite the verse 3 times and then we'll listen. Yat padasushrusanamukya karmana satyadayodoshta sahasrayositaha nirjitya sankhe kridasamstadasiso haranti vajrayudavallabhojitaha. Yat padasushrusanamukya karmana satyadayodoshta sahasrayositaha nirjitya sankhe kridasamstadasiso haranti vajrayudavallabhojitaha. Yat padasushrusanamukya karmana satyadayodoshta sahasrayositaha nirjitya sankhe kridasamstadasiso haranti vajrayudavallabhojitaha. Hare Krishna.
Yat padashushrusanamukya karmana satyadayodvishta sahasrayoshita nirjitya sankye tridashanstadashisho haranti vajrayudavallabhojita.
Yatpadasushrusanamukya karmana satyadayo dvishta sahasra vishita नित्या संख्योत्थित संसतद्दिशिषो करन्ति व्रजायुधवल्लभोचिता. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Yat para shushrusana mukya karmana satya deo diyashta sahasra yasitaha narjitya sankhya tridasham stad ashisho haranti vajra yat yuda vala bochitaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
यत्पादशुश्रूषणमुख्यकर्मणा सत्यादयोद्व्यष्टसहस्रयोषिता निर्जीत्य संख्या धृतशांस्ततशिशो हरन्ति वज्रायुधवल्लभोचिता.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll go for word. Yat, whose, pada, feet, susrusana, administration of comforts, mukhya, the most important, karmana, by the acts of, satya adayaha, queens headed by Satyabhama, duyasta, twice 8, sahasra, 1,000, yositaha, the fair sex, nirjitya, by subduing, sankhe, in the battle, tridasan, of the denizens of heaven, tat asisaha, what is enjoyed by the demigods, haranti, do take away, vajrayuda vallabha, the wives of the personality who controls the thunderbolt, uchitaha, deserving. Translation, Prophet by Divine Grace of Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation, simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the most important of all services, the queens at Dwaraka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of thunderbolts. Purport. Satyabhama, one of the principal queens of Lord Sri Krishna at Dwaraka. After killing Narakasur, Lord Krishna visited the palace of Narakasur, accompanied by Satyabhama. He went to Indraloka also with Satyabhama, and she was received by Sachi Devi, who introduced her to the mother of the demigods, Aditi. Aditi was very much pleased with Satyabhama, and she placed her with the benediction of permanent youth as long as Lord Krishna remained on the earth. Aditi also took her with her to show her the special prerogatives of the demigods in the heavenly planets. When Satyabhama saw the parijata flower, she desired to have it in her palace at Dwaraka. After that, she came back to Dwaraka along with her husband and expressed her willingness to have the parijata flower at her palace. Satyabhama's palace was especially bedecked with valuable jewels, and even in the hottest season of summer, the inside of the palace remained cool, as if air-conditioned. She decorated her palace with various flags, heralding the news of her great husband's presence there. Once, along with her husband, she met Draupadi, and she was anxious to be instructed by Draupadi in the ways and means of pleasing her husband. Draupadi was expert in this affair because she kept 5 husbands, the Pandavas, and all were very much pleased with her. On receipt of Draupadi's instructions, she was very much pleased and offered her good wishes and returned to Dwaraka. She was the daughter of Satyajit. After the departure of Lord Krishna, when Arjuna visited Dwaraka, all the queens, including Satyabhama and Rukmini, lamented for the Lord with great feeling. At the last stage of her life, she left for the forest to undergo severe penance. Satyabhama instigated her husband to get the Parijata flower from the heavenly planets, and the Lord got it even by force from the demigods. As a common husband secures things to please his wife, as already explained, the Lord had very little to do with so many wives to carry out their orders like an ordinary man. But because the queens accepted the high quality of devotional service, namely administering the Lord all comforts, the Lord played the part of a faithful and complete husband. No earthly creature can expect to have things from the heavenly kingdom, especially the Parijata flowers, which are simply to be used by the demigods. But due to their becoming the Lord's faithful wives, all of them enjoyed the special prerogatives of the great wives of the denizens of heaven. In other words, since the Lord is the proprietor of everything within his creation, it is not very astonishing for the queens of Dwarka to have any rare thing from any part of the universe. Krishna. Translation once again. Simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the most important of all services, the queens at Dwarka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of thunderbolts. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamiyam Dadati Sopatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhanvitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarivasha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So thank you for giving this opportunity to purify myself. And before speaking on the verse today, I would like to take permission from all the assembled devotees here. Krishnagata Prabhu, Acharya Prabhu, all of you. So here today we are in the context in this chapter we are on is like Arjuna. In the first verse we see that Arjuna goes to Dwaraka to see Lord Krishna and to learn about his next plan, and then back at Hastinapur, Yudhishthira Maharaj starts observing this inauspicious omen as stated in the verse, like we already did that verses, and he starts getting very anxious. And we also read this conversation, Yudhishthira Maharaj talking to Vim, his brother, about all those omens and his nervousness. And then after around 7 months, Arjuna arrives back, but he's with his pale face and tears gliding. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj starts asking Arjuna about all the members of Yadu dynasty. He even doesn't wait for the answer from Arjuna, and he keeps going on. He asks about Yadu dynasty, the members of Yadu dynasty, like Surasena, and then goes on asking about Vasudev, Mother Devaki, and then sons of Lord Krishna, and Pradyumna, companions of Lord Krishna. And then he again asked if Lord Krishna is happy with all of them. And then in yesterday's verse, we saw Yudhishthira Maharaj was remembering and comparing the inhabitants of Dwarka to Mahapaurisikas of Vaikuntha. So, and then in today's verse, Maharaj Yudhishthira is remembering the queens of Dwarka. So going back to our sloka, Yat Pada Susru Sanamukhya Karmana. Here, Mukhya Karmana in the sloka, Mukhya Karmana means the main activity. The main activity of queens was to Susrushana. Susrushana means administering comfort. By what? And then the first word it comes, Yat Pada, serving his lotus feet. And then in second line, Satyadayo Duyasta Sahasra Yositaha. Duyasta Sahasra Yositaha. Duyasta Sahasra means, Dui means 2, and then Asta means 8, Sahasra means 1,000. When we multiply these numbers, we get 16,000. And then Yositaha. How many? 16,000. Yosita means in the word for Prabhupada says fair sex. That means ladies or women. So 16,000 ladies are here queens, wives of Lord Krishna. So, and I was looking on this word Yosita, and there are many verses about on this word. Like the famous one is like Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahurdi Muktes Tamo Dwaram Yositam Sangi Sangam. I'm not going to the translation or anything on that. And then in Canto 4 also, Mother Sati, there is a conversation between Mother Sati and Lord Shiva, where Mother Sati addresses herself as Yosit. That means Aham Yosit Attatobit. She says herself like, I am the woman and I am I'm non-conversant about the truth. This is another context. And then in third line, Nirjitta Sankhe Trizasans Tat Asiso Haranti Vajra Yuda Ballavo Chitaha. And here Tridasams means the heavenly planets. And we also remember this one from Prabhudananda Saraswati. He says, Kaivalyam Narakayate Tridasapur Akasa Puspayate. So here Tridasams. Tridasams means the place where 33 million demigods live, like 33 koti devatas, we say. So here on third and fourth verse, he says, Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, Nirjitta Sankhe Tridasams Tat Asiso Haranti Vajra Yudavallabachitaha. Means Nirjitta Sankhe means he is subduing in the battle to those demigods to get Tad Asiso. Tad Asiso means those opulences or those blessings they are getting. How? Haranti. Haranti means like Haranti Prasavamana. I mean, forcibly taking away. Haranti Vajrayudha Ballavachitaha. Vajrayudha means the one who carries Vajra. Who was that? That is Lord Indra, and Ballava means the wife of Indra, that is Mother Sachi Devi. So Uchita means deserving, or so. Here in translation, Srila Prabhupada writes like whole thing in together, simply by administering comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is the most important of all services. Of all services, the queens at Dwarka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogative to the wives of the controller of Thunderbolt. And in Sarartha Darshani, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in translation that Satyabhama and other 16,000 queens, by serving his feet as their main activity through Krishna, defeated in battle the Devatas, took the Parijata tree which was being enjoyed by Indra's wife Sachi. And in commentary he writes, defeating the Devatas, Tridasan means defeating through the strength of Krishna. Tad Asisa means Parijata and other things. Vajrayudha Ballava is Sachi. So here the word is used induced to indicate that Lord Krishna was so pleased. It is not, I mean, it doesn't mean that the wives, Satyabhama and others, were going and fighting with the demigods. It is like it says inducing Lord Krishna. And why was Lord Krishna, and how was Lord Krishna induced? Srila Prabhupada writes that he was, I mean, indirectly we can see he is so pleased with the services of his queens that he even fought with the demigods to get the things that his wives, or especially Satyabhama, desired to have. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is giving hints of Lord Krishna's pastimes, like couple different pastimes. So one of them is like killing of Narakasur. Killing of Narakasur is mentioned, but he doesn't say who's Narakasur and why was he killed. Why did Lord take Satyabhama with him while going to kill Narakasur? So if any of you, hello, how are you? So if any of you want to say something about. Who was Narakasur? Why was he killed? Anyone?
We'll just hear it from you.
Okay. So Narakasur was, we remember the pastime of Lord Barahadev when Hiranyaksha drowned Mother Earth, and then Lord Barahadev killed Hiranyaksha, and then got Mother Earth out and fixed her in her orbit, all those things. And then, so with the meeting of Bhudevi, Mother Earth, Lord Krishna and Mother Earth, CB got this child called Bhaumasura, and he's also called Narakasura. So same Bhaumasura and Narakasura. So, but he, like we can see here, like he is Lord's son himself. I mean, but he is here Asura, Narakasura, and I remember, like we heard this from Vishnukada Prabhu also, that with the association of another demon like Banasura, he also becomes like Asura, and then he does all these mischievous activities like troubling all the demigods, even people, stealing things, like kidnapping the princesses. So, and then it was too much. Then he steals Mother Aditi's earrings, Varuna's umbrella, and I forgot the name of the mountain, that demigod's playground, all those things. And so when it was too much, and then demigods headed by Indra, especially Indra, comes to Dwaraka and requests Lord Krishna if he can do something with this demon. And then and then there is another pastime related. Why did Lord Krishna take Satyabhama with him while going to kill Naraka? It is unusual. Whenever one is going to battle, he doesn't take his wife with him. But here Lord Krishna is taking Satyabhama with him. And then, so back to in Krishna, there is a chapter called, I think, Deliverance of Bhaumasura. Yeah, the deliverance of demon Bhaumasura in Krishna book. So there is the detail in that, given in that chapter. But and then in chapter 59 there is deliverance of Bhaumasura. In chapter 60 there is a chapter talks between Krishna and Rukmini. They are, I mean, intertwined. So when in Krishna and Rukmini, like Lord Srila Prabhupada writes that when once Narad Muni visits Dwaraka, and then he gives one parijata flower to Rukmini Devi. So when Satyabhama comes to know that Rukmini has this flower from heaven, so she gets envious, and then she demands similar flower to Lord Krishna, that I also want parijata. And then she doesn't get pacified when until Lord Krishna says like promises to her that why only one flower? I'll get a whole tree for you. And then so it was then. So but it's not right away. I mean, she has to wait. And so here, after killing Narakasur, Lord is going to fulfill both the mission. He is going to return Mother Aditi's earrings as a victory sign for demigods, and then getting Parisat tree for Satyabhama. So there is different versions, like where somewhere it says it is written that Satyabhama uprooted the tree, and somewhere it says like in here Srila Prabhupada is writing like they came back, Satyabhama came back after meeting Aditi, after saying all those things and coming back, she desires, she expresses her desires to have that parisata. So anyway, and then the main thing is like Krishna gets that tree, uproots that tree, and then there's a fight. Like the demigods, they don't easily give that tree to Krishna, and then there's a fight, and Krishna defeats all of them, uproots that tree, puts on Garuda, and comes back to Dwarka, and I mean places it in the courtyard of Satyabhama. So and then in Krishna book, in that chapter, we can see that how Srila Prabhupada is writing how Lord Krishna's external potency works so fast. Like that same Indra who was begging with Lord Krishna to kill Narakasur, I mean, he couldn't even get that Mother Aditi's earring by himself, and he had to request Lord Krishna. And then after getting that, like when Krishna came, he offered all his respects, everything. And then when he was leaving, when he asked her, he first asked for Parijata tree, and then he refuses to give, and then there's fight. And then that means like we also like get like Krishna's external energy acts so fast that he can forget like how great Krishna is, and then we come back to our normal self, like thinking ourselves the Lord. So maybe we can read that purport where Srila Prabhupada writes about Indra being arrogant. Let me share that one. Chapter 9, yeah, in chapter 59 it is there. I'll share that. I can't find it. Where? Okay, if anyone would like to read, I will take you to the verse. I mean the point where it starts. Okay, here. This is Krishna book, chapter 59, the deliverance of Jiman Baumasur. So we can read from here. Like this is about the Parijata flower, and then here King Indra. Yeah. Anyone would like to read this, Madhavendavali?
Hare Krishna. King Indra's behavior toward Krishna was not very much appreciated by great sages like Sukadeva Goswami. Out of his causeless mercy, Krishna had gone to the heavenly kingdom, Amravati, to present King Indra with his mother's carings, which had been lost to Bhaumasura, and Indra had been very glad to receive them. But when a Parijata tree from the heavenly kingdom was taken by Krishna, Indra had fought with him. This was self-interest on the part of Indra. He had offered his prayers, tipping down his head to the lotus feet of Krishna. But as soon as his purpose had been served, he became a different creature. That is the way of the dealings of materialistic men. Materialist men are always interested in their own profit. For this purpose, they can offer any kind of respect to anyone. But when their personal interest is over, they are no longer friends. This selfish nature is found not only among the richer class of men, on this planet, but even in personalities like Indra and other demigods. Too much wealth makes a man selfish. A selfish man is not prepared to take to Krishna conscious and is condemned by great devotees like Sukadeva Goswami. In other words, passion of too many worldly riches is a difficult disqualification for advancement for in Krishna consciousness. I'm sorry.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I mean, that's so very true. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has given another hint of pastime, where he says in the purport, the purport part here, he says, once along with her husband, she met Draupadi, and she was anxious to be instructed by Draupadi in the ways and means of pleasing her husband. Draupadi was expert in this affair because she kept 5 husbands, the Pandavas, and all were very much pleased with her. On receipt of Draupadi's instructions, she was very much pleased and offered her good wishes and returned to Dwarka. So, okay, before we go to this pastime, is there any comments or points to be added to the one we just read in Krishna book? Snegata Prabhu?
About the Parijata tree?
Yeah.
There's, from the 4th canto, there's a description of the Parijata tree. Let me see if I can find it. Here it says, the dear Lord, when a bee approaches the celestial tree called Parijata, it certainly does not leave the tree because there is no need for such action. This is 4th canto, 30th chapter, 32nd verse. If one is fixed in purport, if one is fixed in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there is unlimited transcendental bliss, and as such, there is no need to ask for further benediction. The Parijata tree is not commonly found in this material world. The Parijata tree is also known as the Kalpabriksha, which is very interesting. Kalpa, or the wish-fulfilling tree. One can get anything one desires from such a tree. So so then he says, Chintamani Pakarasadmasu Kalpabrikshadak. So that's kind of surprising. I didn't realize that the Parijata tree and the Kalpavriksha tree are the same. And then if you look in the Lord Krishna's daily activities, we hear that Lord Krishna caused the Parijata tree to be brought to the earth planet, by Satyabhama, on the back of Garuda. So it seems like there's only one Parijata tree brought. So then, but in the Lord Krishna's daily activities, says he had 16,000 wives. In the garden, within the compound of each palace, there were Parijata flowers. The Parijata is not an artificial flower. We remember that Krishna brought the Parijata trees, plural, from heaven, and planted them in all his palaces. Early in the morning, a mild breeze would carry the aroma of the Parijata flower, and Krishna would smell it just after rising from bed. So it seems like from this, that the Parijata, at least Parijata flowers, if not Parijata trees, were there in every palace. There were 16,000 palaces. That's very interesting. And just one other comment about the Baumasur. Baumasur had kidnapped all the princesses, and they brought them he had them, in prison. When Krishna came, then he killed Baumasur and liberated those ladies, the princesses. But then they asked to be married to Krishna, and because no one would marry them. Why is that? Why wouldn't anybody marry them?
Then it was said, like, when the girls or the women are out of the house for even one night, they're considered to be not suitable to be married to others.
Yes, but Krishna accepted them all, 16,000 of them, which, in Ramchandra's Leela, Sita was away, so there was always a question. People, I mean, although she had passed the test of the going into the fire, still people had questions. But here, Lord Krishna, being more liberal in a sense, accepted all those queens. Bhishma Dev, when he took away the queens of the princesses of Kashi to Hastinapur to marry Vichitavirya, one of the queens said, well, actually, I already gave my heart to another person, other the king, Shalva. So he said, okay, you can go back. But he wouldn't marry her, the king, because she had spent the night in Hastinapur. And then she went back to to Bhishma and said, well, okay, maybe Vichitavirya can marry him. But that was not possible because she spent the night at Shalva's place. So we see this as Lord Krishna was more liberal than these specific things. Just a couple of things. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
So are
Krishna.
there Parijata trees now on the earth planet? Do you have any Parijata trees in South India or in Dwarka now?
Yes, Prabhu. That's what I just want to ask. Because
Okay.
in India, in front of our house, there's a Parijata tree.
No kidding.
Yeah, but I don't know whether that is real Parijata from they call it, but they call it Parijata, and the stem is little reddish and the flower will be white. So that smells very good, smells very good.
And if you ask for anything, do you get what you desire?
I didn't know all that. The Parijata tree is very good in it, those flowers to go to Krishna's lotus feet, and like that we always think and we always pray, that's all.
So I don't know, if you brought one tree down, then a tree, produces flowers according to the kind of tree. It may, can it reproduce, give off seeds and take it to different places in India? I don't know. But apparently they went to at least there were flowers in every
Houses they have,
palace.
most of the houses they have the tree.
No kidding. Wow, that's something new. I didn't know.
That's why I just wanted to ask whether that is the same Parijata tree or anything else, I don't know. But we call that Parijata, and they are very special for praying,
Did you ever ask for a wish to be fulfilled from that Parijata tree?
Didn't ask. I don't know.
Never asked. Okay,
I
so
never
that
ask anything, Prabhu. God,
oh,
what
okay.
gives
Oh, for
us,
devotional service, that's fine.
whatever he gives me.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Very good.
Thank you, Prabhu. So I was going to share about this another pastime that Srila Prabhupada has just given a hint about meeting Draupadi and Satyabhama. So here Srila Prabhupada says instructed by Draupadi in the ways and means of pleasing her husband. So I was looking this into Vedavis. So I found Mahabharata retold by Krishna Dharmadas. It's in Bhaktivedanta Vedavis, and it's in the part 1, chapter 30. So it's like after the Pandavas started their forest exile, and then they stays like more than 4 years in Amaravati. No, sorry, the Kubera's place, and then Bhim and Arjuna they come to Yudhishthira Maharaj and says like, now it's time to go back. If we stay here in this luxury, we might forget our real mission, and Duryodhana might not get punished, so we need to go back. So they come back to the earth, and the place's name is Little Tough. And before going to and then there is a pastime of whole that Nahusa Maharaj, and then being serpent, and then after that they come to Kamyak one the start of Kartik month for Kartik month. So there Krishna and Satyabhama they come to visit Pandavas, and there that's the time when Satyabhama meets Draupadi, and she asks this question about serving and pleasing husbands. So let me save that one so that we can read. Krishna Gada Prabhu is writing here. In the garden within the compound of each palace, there were parijata flowers. The parijata is not an artificial flower. We remember that Krishna brought the parijata trees from heaven and planted them in all his palaces. Early in the morning, a mild breeze would carry the aroma of parijata flower, and Krishna would smell it just after rising from bed. Hey Krishna.
The point was, it says, within this, all his palaces. All his palaces.
Chapter 30 is the place was Visakayapa, and then they come to Kamyaka. Here, let's go to the point where Draupadi and Satyabhama are talking. There's a Markandeya Muni. Sorry, I'm making this. When Markandeya Muni was gone, okay, from here we'll read about what Draupadi is instructing to Satyabhama. Mother Shobarati, would you like to read this one?
Okay. When Markandeya was gone, Krishna spent a little more time talking with the Pandavas. Satyabhama took the opportunity to speak with Draupadi and ask her how she was able to serve and satisfy 5 husbands. Krishna's wife wanted to learn from the Panchala princess, who was famed for her chastity and womanly skills, so that she might improve her own service to Krishna. Draupadi told her in detail about the many ways she served her husbands. Draupadi said, "Abandoning vanity and subduing desire and wrath, I serve my husbands with attention along with their other wives. I do not feel my position of servitude to be a degraded one, and I restrain jealousy by remaining devoted. I neither bathe, sleep, nor eat before my husbands or even before our servants and followers. At no time do I allow my mind to dwell upon another man or any celestial. My heart never sways from my husbands. The minute I see them, I rise up and greet them, offering them a seat and water. I always keep our living quarters clean and fragrant, and all the household items and food well ordered." Satyabhama, herself a great favorite of Krishna's, listened attentively. Draupadi described how she would never enjoy anything her husbands did not enjoy, nor would she perform any act disagreeable to them. When they went away, she renounced her ornaments and cosmetics and practiced asceticism. She tried always to assist her husbands as they performed sacrifices and other religious practices. "I'm the first to rise from bed and the last to take rest. I'm ever attentive to my duty and never give way to sloth. In my opinion, service to the husband is the eternal virtue of women. The husband is the wife's God and her sole refuge. By serving him, she pleases even the Supreme Lord himself and thereby attains to the highest destination." When Draupadi finished, Satyabhama embraced her. She heard Krishna calling her and so took her leave, promising to come to Indraprastha after the Pandavas had regained their kingdom.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So whenever we read Srila Prabhupada's purport, like each word is like a whole big thing, when we try to open it up. So, and then if we go to this instruction of Draupadi, so again, many things will come up, like it's, huge topic to discuss. But here in purport, Srila Prabhupada writes in the last paragraph, I'll just read it. Satyabhama instigated her husband to get the Parijata flower from the heavenly planets, and the Lord got it even by force from the demigods, as a common husband secures things to please his wife. As already explained, the Lord had very little to do with so many wives to carry out their orders like an ordinary man. But because the queens accepted the high quality of devotional service, namely administering the Lord all comforts, the Lord played the part of faithful and complete husband. No earthly creature can expect to have things from the heavenly kingdom, especially the Parijata flowers, which are simply to be used by the demigods. But due to their becoming the Lord's faithful wives, all of them enjoyed the special prerogatives of the great wives of the denizens of heaven. In other words, since the Lord is the proprietor of everything within his creation, it is not very astonishing for the queens of Dwaraka to have any rare thing from any part of the universe. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is remembering all those related to Lord Krishna and comparing them. And here you can be like, so how much merciful is Lord Krishna? Lord Krishna is like Vishnu Gada Prabhu just mentioned, like he just didn't get one Parijata tree, he got like trees and planted to all the palaces. And so, and then when we go about this, I mean, the topic on this, the later part, we just read for Draupadi saying about serving her husband. So, and then there was a one pastime of Mirabai going to Vrindavan to meet, I don't know, it was Rupa Goswami, Vishnagada Prabhu was saying this one. And then when she wants to meet him, and then he says like, I don't want to meet the ladies, I mean, the women. And Mirabai says back that I thought Krishna was the only Purusa, everyone else are women, kind of that part. And then he agrees to meet Mirabai. So that means, I mean, even men or women, all are Prakriti, and Krishna is the only Purusa. So keeping this in mind, we should be always having this servitude to serve Krishna and please him in any way we can. Like we start our service in the every day, like from chanting, that is also a service. And what else? I'm trying to remember that verse, but I couldn't. Where it says like when one I thought I would find it. It is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where it says Rupa Goswami is saying like when one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then even being in this world, he's not contaminated with this material world. I mean, he's associated with Krishna if he is engaged in the devotional service to Krishna. So service makes Krishna, I mean, to look at us. What I didn't get the proper way to put it on, but we can see all those pastimes, like there are many pastimes where Krishna is reciprocating to his devotees, like many, like the appearance of Radha Madan Mohan, Sakshi Gopal. There are many pastimes. When we start counting on those, like there are many. So I will end here with this thing, like focusing on service, like that's why our being a practicing devotee, our motive or our aim should be like always there is a prayer saying Sthiti Seva Gati Yatra Smriti Sintastu Trivacha Yat Sarvatmana Vishnu Madhyam Tvichishtitam. Let my normal condition be service, my movement be holy pilgrimage, my thought be remembrance of you. Oh Vishnu, let my whole mind, body, and soul be engaged in you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If there is any corrections, additional points.
You mentioned the thing about Mira going to Vrindavan. I might have mentioned that, but I also, that wasn't, Prabhupada didn't accept that as a bona fide story. Just to be clear. People say that, but Srila Prabhupada said he didn't think it was correct.
The one thing that I was thinking about was how Krishna is so merciful. In that pastime, you were talking about him accepting the 16,000 princesses. He shows his mercy. And no matter our qualifications, we can serve him. And we keep hearing it, it's not about whether we are a Brahmana or not, whether we are man, women, or whatever, but the only qualification we need to have is a desire to serve him. And thank you, Mataji.
I think that's it. Magisha Bharati.
I don't have any announcements. If nobody has any other questions or comments, we can end the class here.
I have a question, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And I think you talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to ask is, as a grihasta, I have a family, right? I have a almost 9-year-old daughter. I have my wife. Is service to, now it'll never be on par with my devotional service to Krishna, but is my service to them, how does that line up with my service to Krishna? I've always kind of heard like my service to my daughter is the same as service to Gopal. Like she's like my little Gopal. Can you explain a little more on that? I kind of always, I try to toe this line between allegiance to my family, I guess, serving my family and serving Krishna. How do you go about that as a grihasta?
I will try from my part, but I know there are, here senior devotees, they know more than that. But the way I understood is we take our family members, like you said, daughter, as also a part of Krishna, and serving them as like, we all are like part and parcel of Krishna, but it is like some has dormant, not yet realized, and some realizes it and tries to become a devotee. But when we try to serve them, also to encourage them to come closer to Krishna, that is our service to Krishna, because we're trying to connect them with Krishna. So that is also regarded as service. It's not that we go, there's a saying like when we want to go somewhere, like there's a ending point and we want to go faster, then you go yourself, by yourself, run by yourself. But only you. But if you want to go longer, then you go together. So family means like if you want to go faster, you go yourself, just run away. But if you want to go farther, then you go together. So you engage your family also in the service of Krishna. So that is a service in itself. So Vishnu Prabhu will add more points in that.
I didn't know I was supposed to add more points. The verse from Rishabh Dev is that the duty of the king, the teacher, the relative, the father, the mother, is to save their dependents from repeated birth and death. So, in that context, a parent, in addition to providing the material necessities will encourage their dependents to go along the spiritual path. Of course, they can't force, and it's not, and they don't want to turn them against, Krishna consciousness by being a forceful person. But that's what makes the service particularly important. But we see that even Lord Krishna's son, who is that? Bhaumasura, didn't go along with. And we find also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Advaita Acharya had 6 sons, and 3 became devotees and 3 became impersonalists. So the family, the father, in your case, the father, does their services, and they're doing it in the hopes that the person will become liberated from birth and death. But it's ultimately up to the person and Lord Krishna. So that's the sense of your service to the family. Do it very nicely. Yes. Encourage them in their material pursuits, but only as far as necessary, and encourage them in their spiritual pursuits also. And that's the service.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Which is more important? Which is more important? Well, at different times, different things will take precedence. That's each specific time you can't say. Ultimately, everybody, like Mother Shyamagori said, ultimately you have to save yourself too.
Thank you all so much. And I hope this question was relevant to today's lecture. And if not, I apologize. So
No,
thank you.
nice. Thank you for the good question, and it was nice.
Lord Krishna was taking the interest in the wants of Satyabhama, right? He got the flower for the Parijata tree, so he was sensitive to the needs of his wives, even though it seems a little bit material, but maybe it's not. I mean, Parijata tree being a kalpavriksha, a desire tree. That's kind of a wonderful, very interesting. So if your daughter asks you for a desire tree, a kalpavriksha, see if you can arrange for that, okay, Bhaktabhav?
No, thank you.
Why not? No, you can.
No, I will. Yes.
Something like that. Anyway, I mean, yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. On the Sobaradi, do we end here?
Yes, we can end here.
Thank you so much. Vansha kalpatarudasya kripa vedana.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mother Shyamagori. Hare Krishna.
That's a good